Hi there from Chicago. Mike Hall and Jimmy Gray Miller here with you. We are moments away from going out to Iowa City to hear from the brand new head women's basketball coach of the Hawkeyes, Jensen, who will be replacing legendary head coach and her longtime friend, Lisa Bluder. We had a chance to talk a little bit earlier today, and I said when the news happened and Lisa Bluder stepped down, I was taken completely off guard. You said I was the exact opposite, Mike.
Yes, it's time. And what more is she going to do, Mike? I mean, she took a great program that was established by C. Vivian Stringer. In fact, Coach Stringer was a mentor of Lisa Bluder's, and then it fell on some hard times, and then in steps Lisa Bluder, and then she went right back to where it was and then made it even better. Right. I mean back-to-back national championship games, 4 straight Big Ten championships to end your tenure, and then recruiting and coaching the greatest women's college basketball player of all time.
Pretty amazing. And to think now we know her final year started with the crossover at Kinnick, where the all-time women's basketball attendance record was set with 55,000.
Will never be broken.
Will never be broken, and it ends in the national championship game. She's leaving the program in such a good position, and with a pretty darn good coach taking over. Jensen was a great player in college. She played for Bluder at Drake, averaging almost 30 points a game her senior year. She was an assistant coach then for Lisa Bluder. Went over to Iowa when Bluder went, is known as the post doctor for her ability to develop post players, can recruit, as you see, multiple different McDonald's All-Americans she has helped bring to the program. And now Jensen is taking over in Iowa City, as we said, at a time where the program is at a great spot. Let's listen in right now in Iowa
With a
City.
few brief announcements. This press conference will be transcribed and it will air on multiple outlets live. Additionally, we will have microphone holders, so please state your name and affiliation. With that, let me turn it over to the Henry B. Patricia B. Tippy, Director of Athletics Chair, Beth Getz.
Well, good afternoon, everyone, and thanks for being here with us today. It's always a great day to be a Hawkeye, and today is another day we get to celebrate what it means to be part of the black and gold family. I want to thank you all for being here today and welcoming in a new era of Iowa women's basketball. I'm so grateful to our outstanding student athletes, alums, our incoming prospects, incredibly passionate fans and benefactors, and to our campus and community leaders for your unwavering support of this program. Your belief and commitment are what make this program so special. Just a few acknowledgments as we begin. I'm thrilled to see Julie, Janie, and Jack smiling with pride. It's great to see our women's basketball staff and athletic staff who work tirelessly for the success of this program. I want to thank President Wilson for being our biggest fan and for valuing the transformational impact athletics has on the educational experience of our student athletes and the important role our department plays in furthering the mission of the university. I also want to recognize Dr. Sue Beckwith, who was with us in the beginning and every step of the way, ensuring that generations of athletes have the opportunity to experience what she did in a Hawkeye uniform. And finally, Lisa Bluder, who inspired us all, made an impact on countless lives, and mentored the amazing coach we are here to welcome today. She set a daily example of how to lead with character on the path to achieving excellence. I know she will always be our biggest champion. This is a seamless passing of the baton. The definition of a true teammate is someone who embraces their role, commits to honing their craft with the sole expectation to serve those around them and make the team better. Jensen has learned from the best, positioned the program for unprecedented achievements, and has been an integral component over the past decades in making Iowa one of the most successful college women's basketball programs in the country. Jan's journey has been entangled with the story of women's basketball in the state of Iowa for as long as most can remember. It was in her genes, as her grandmother, who played 6-on-6 in the 1920s, I think I'm getting this right, Coach, was nicknamed Lottie for scoring lots of points. Jan carried on that tradition, with her name still etched in Iowa high school record books. She then went on to become the nation's leading scorer, averaging 29.7 points per game, and became an All-American at Drake University. Her coaching career began after spending a year playing professionally in Germany, and she has never looked back. A presence on the court and off, known equally for the impact she makes on the game and for the authenticity and kindness she shares with all she meets, making them feel like lifelong friends. A relationship builder, a relentless recruiter, a post whisperer, always ready for coffee and a conversation with an athlete, a champion on someone's most difficult day and on their best. She's always been leading, always been mapping a path for success for your Hawkeyes. She embodies the culture of Iowa women's basketball that our loyal fans have come to know and love, and will lead this new era of the program during a new era of college athletics with creativity, grit, passion, and commitment needed to build champions on and off the court. A head coach must have a deep understanding of the game, be a teacher at heart, understand how to build culture and inspire belief. They must be a role model, a motivator, and have an unrelenting competitive drive to be the best and bring out the best in all who touch their program. Jan models daily what it means to be have a tireless work ethic, to lead with compassion and fiery passion, and to be confident in who you are and how to go about chasing your dreams. Everything we needed in the next leader of this storied program was right here. Under Jan's leadership, you will continue to see a team that plays with heart, with unmatched toughness, and plays an exciting brand of basketball. We have a coach who welcomes high expectations, has an energy that inspires all those around her, and a contagious enthusiasm that will continue to flame the passion of her team and our fans across the state and beyond. You've been all in here with us, and we are all in with you. How amazing is it when the easy choice is the right choice, and in Caitlin Clark's words, the only choice. It's now my pleasure to officially welcome and introduce the University of Iowa P. Sue Beckwith head women's basketball coach, Jan Jensen.
Thank you so much. Thanks for everybody being here and for always covering our program. Really appreciate it. It's a day, that's for sure. First off, I want to thank Beth. That was such a lovely intro, and just thank you and President Wilson for believing in me and for giving me this unbelievable opportunity. It's honestly, words certainly fail me, and those of you who know me, that doesn't happen often. But truly, I'm really grateful and so excited. I especially want to thank Lisa Bluder. She's, she's great in every realm, right? Thank you for everything you've done for this program. Thanks for letting me be part of the ride here. And thanks for coaching me when I was at Drake and letting me be a part of that ride there and taking a chance on me at a young age. And thanks for everything you've done for women's basketball. You've impacted it so incredibly. But I really want to thank you for how you've impacted me and for kind of being part of the plan all those years ago and for believing in me, preparing me, helping me fan this dream and now to make it a reality. Thank you, and I love you. I also want to thank Jenny Fitzgerald, another one of my best friends, one of the three amigas. I don't know how many years ago we started a group chat, us three, and it's probably Jenny that named it that. But, Jenny has way too often been an unsung hero, always behind the scenes, and never, ever has she gotten the credit or the shine that she deserves. She is an incredible coach. Her basketball acumen is really unparalleled. And she has helped me on this journey. She's helped me in so many moments in life. We've enjoyed so many fun moments way back when we started at Teammates at Drake. And I'm just so thankful to have had this ride with you. And I just appreciate everything you've done. And I know so many times it could have been you, different times, and our paths. So I just want to thank you. And I love you, both of you guys. What a ride it has been. I also want to thank my incredible family, my spouse, Julie Fitzpatrick. Oh, man. Those of you who know me, you know how much I really believe in Julie and just the amazing person that you are. And you've sacrificed your own career coming back and everything that goes with coaching. And there's no better teammate. You're my calm, the steady, the rock. Incredible. So thank you. And to Jack and Janie, oh, man, amazing kids. You understand the schedule. And you understand it's going to get even more intense, likely. And I just thank you for believing in me. And, you know, Jack's one of my biggest champions. Lisa, I don't know if she had the foresight or not. She had me be the head coach at our European trip. And the opponents weren't great, okay. But right after the trip, Jack said, Mom, you are 2-0 as the head coach, and your margin of victory is well over 50. And I said, thank you. I'll remember that. But both kids are really, really great and understand the schedule. And I want to just mention 3 people really that aren't here. They're actually watching from above. My mom, my dad, and my brother. You talk about fans. They were my biggest. And they would have loved this day, especially in a small town. Those of you who are from a small town, boy, it's a big deal when you succeed in anything. And so everybody in Kimballton, Iowa, I'm just so grateful. I've had so much support. My original hometown of Kimballton, living in Des Moines from Drake, such great people. My friends here, I'm just so blessed. But my parents, they really taught me a lot, gave me my foundation, and my brother. Before I ever had a coach, I had a brother. So I'm really thankful for that. And my sister, she's in Sioux City watching. I have a niece in Kimballton, Ashley, watching. They're just really great family members and great supporters. So I've been really, really fortunate. I want to give a shout out to them. I just have had a really incredible personal team, which starting with, Lisa and Jenny all those years, and, Abby, Tanaya, Ben, they're here. Raina is on vacation, but everybody's with me. And we've just had such a great ride, and now we're excited to do it together. And I think back on all the teams that I had at Drake I was part of, and the teams here at Iowa, and I want to give a special shout out to those players. You can't mention them all by name, but every one of them really has a piece of my heart, and they were part of really pushing me to want to become a head coach. And I have had so many wonderful texts from players, and I haven't gotten to them all yet, but I will. And that goes for all of our great fans and my friends. I haven't gotten to those texts yet, because I tell you what, I've really focused on the people that can play for us now and in the future. That's where my energy has been. But I promise you, the ones I have read have been just so heartwarming, and I look forward to getting back to those when I just get a little bit of more free time to breathe. In closing, I guess I'd just like to state that I love this state, and I cannot believe the journey I have had. Oh, boy. I always say, if God would take me tomorrow, I couldn't have had it better. I couldn't have had it better. A small-town kid gets to play basketball, goes to the state tournament, gets a full ride, plays at another tremendous university in the state, gets to go to Germany, gets to win the German Cup, gets a GOAT like Lisa Buter to believe in her, has incredible, friendships and leaders that have mentored me, meet, the love of my life, and have incredible kids. And then the last couple of years, we just, change the game. And it's just been a ride. And I cannot tell you how I'm just in awe of our fan base. And you guys have backed us, and the way you've reached out to me, taken over the reins, it's just not like that. It's not like that everywhere. And as Beth said, it's seamless. And in that way, it really is. I mean, there's been a big change, but most everything has remained the same, and that is that culture that Iowa has and Iowa is. It's that way administratively, academically. It's this way. I mean, our administration here, I think everybody will tell you, we are just so fired up and excited about Beth's vision. And that's where I think just internally, I'm so grateful to learn and grow under her. And this city, oh man, this state, I know there's a lot of people that could take this job, but I promise you nobody loves this place as much as I do. And I promise you, we've been working together for years tirelessly, and I will commit to that. I'm going to work my hardest to continue building on everything that Christine Grant started in her vision of this athletic department. And Lord Birdsong started it, and obviously the Vivian Stringer years, and then certainly Lisa. And it is not lost on me that I've gotten to have my dream job at a place that I love, and now I get to have my dream title. Are you kidding me? And I don't have to move. I am beyond blessed. I am beyond excited, and I'm in awe that I get to stand here in this capacity today. So I thank you for all the coverage you're giving us, and I so hope I'm part of some wonderful stories you'll get together in many years to come. So thank you, and I believe I give it to you or them or questions.
If you have questions.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Kyle Huseman, HawkeyeReport.com. Do you anticipate any internal moves with the coaching staff, and then with an assistant coach position open? Have you decided on a timeline that you'd like to have to fill that position?
No, everything's been so fast, really. I mean, I think about really the last 6 days of my life. It's been kind of crazy. But it'll be as quickly as we can with posting. Certainly I've had some thoughts and conversations, but I'm just thrilled that everybody is on board, with the coaches that go out on the road recruit, and certainly video and player development. So we'll do that as quickly as we can, and I think any head coach would tell you that a new head coach, as soon as you get that done, you start to breathe even easier. But we have some great possibilities, I think, that are interested, so hopefully that'll come to fruition. Yeah.
Hi, Jan. Scott Doctorman with The Athletic. I wanted to ask you a little bit about the timeline, when Lisa told you she was leaving, and then when did the conversation start with Beth right afterwards about you succeeding her? Yeah, I mean, it's really been not, more than a week, really. And I think, Lisa had, when we're recruiting, a lot of people have always asked, I think anytime you're an experienced coaching staff, that's always questions you have to face, whether it's, from your competition that's trying to, find a way to, out-recruit you or get the, recruits to think otherwise. But I think that's been the fun and the beauty of our staff is that we just went and we worked and enjoyed every step. And I think when Lisa got some clarity, I think someday Lisa will probably take some questions and, be interviewed. But she just got some clarity. And I've heard when everybody gets to that point of retiring, when you know. And there was never, after Caitlin leaves or, after Megan leaves. There was never that. What I've always appreciated about Lisa is she just had a blast doing it. She always loved that competition. And I think when she had some time to, I don't want to put words in her mouth, but just had some time to really center, I just think it became clear. And so when it became clear, it was kind of a shocker because it's a little bit later, right? And so, when she came back and said, I'm going to bring you by some coffee, I said, oh, yeah. And when I just saw, Jenny show up too, and I thought, oh, whoa, what's happening here? But then after that point, we rolled. And then Beth within probably 24 hours. Just reached out to have a conversation. Yeah.
Adam Jacoby, Rivals. Jan, a lot of what made Iowa successful is having you as the associate head coach. And so a little bit of a two-parter here. One, how much do you expect your sort of role, day-to-day role, to change as just the head coach? And then two, to the extent that it does change, who's going to be your Jan Jensen?
Yeah, well, that's a really good question. I think that, some of my strengths that I had, I'll certainly carry over, just moving 20 feet down the hallway, right? But I think I haven't made the job description yet based exactly on the day-to-day. I don't necessarily feel like, what I do is going to change. I think that the name of the game for this level is, you can't win the race if you don't have the horses. So it's a lot about recruiting and, making sure that our game plan that we've always had remains seamless as well, right? Because now we need to get someone in here that can do that, fulfill the role. I feel, Abby is, she was our player. The minute we could hire Abby, we did. And Abby's loyalty to this university, Abby is a tremendous basketball mind as well, but her just people sense and her integrity, she'll be definitely greater than a Jan Jensen. She believes in this place. She actually played here. So I don't feel we'll be short on that. I think that's what's made our staff so great is we've all been built on integrity and have a great synergy. Raina's on vacation, or Raina would be here, and she's tremendous too. So I do not think we'll skip a beat there. We just have to pick the right person that's going to be able to come in as a newbie and kind of keep that recruiting synergy going. And obviously some of that, strategy wise too, but those are things that we'll be looking at, the synergy, how they gel, and certainly bringing the things that I'm working on in the job descriptions, looking for people to identify all of those things.
Chad Leistikow, Des Moines Register. So I know Lisa talked to the players a lot about like envisioning things, okay? So like the last week or so since you've known, maybe you might be in line for this, how do you envision this program looking under Jan Jensen leadership, and like, exact same as Lisa Bluter, differences, crowds? I don't know, what comes to your mind when you think about that vision?
Well, I think, whether our staff stayed intact from last year to this year was going to look a lot different, right? It's going to be rebuilding in the sense of you graduated tremendous seniors, certainly a generational player like Caitlin. There will be fans that, were Caitlin fans, but I really believe that a lot of people came for Caitlin, but they stayed for Hannah. They stayed for Sid. They certainly stayed for Kate and Gabby, but I think they stayed for what that team and what this culture is. And this was the same culture when Megan Gustafson was here in 2019. We made it to the Elite Eight that year, but that same synergy and that same fun and that same joy, I think there's that saying, tradition never graduates. I don't believe culture graduates. But you have to work on it. You have to recruit to it. You have to work at it. And I think that's what these amazing loyal fans will continue to do. And I think that whether there was a coaching change or not, the majority, even 2 weeks ago, they were so ready for this next season. They're curious. They're excited. They want to see what the next era was going to be. 2 weeks ago, I didn't know that it was going to be, quote unquote, my era, right? But the same vision that I had working with Lisa will be continuing. You want to do it at a very high level. You want to do it with integrity, never compromising your values. And you want to put a product on the floor that's fun to watch and fun to cheer for and fun to play. So that will remain the same. Now, how we do it, I'm not going to reinvent the wheel. We've had pretty good success. But, I'm going to put my own little, stamp on it, right? We haven't ever full court press before. I know Raina's a big proponent of that, right? So you might see a few things differently. But if you read my bio at all, I like offense, So that started way back in 1985, and it just kind of came all, stuck with us all the way. Lisa's a 6-on-6 girl too, and so is Jenny. And so there'll be some different things, there's different sets that, maybe when we had our coaching meetings, it's a collaboration. Some of the things that maybe I wanted to vote for, they got voted down. Well, now guess what? I'm going to give it my shot, right? I say that tongue in cheek, but It's again goes back to there's a big change, but a lot of the same things will remain, and I'm very proud of that. I think all the Coach K disciples, Roy Williams disciples, whether they got to stay at their place or go, you'd be crazy not to take some of what they instilled in you. So Lisa, I'm going to have her stay on in some capacity. It's going to help us be an advisor, and I'm very, very excited that she'll be willing to do that. So thanks to her for that.
Hi, Coach. Scott Reister at KCCI in Des
Yep.
Moines. Congratulations. I know you've had opportunities to go be a head coach before this day. Mm-hmm. How close did you ever come to taking one of those opportunities, and why did you ultimately play the long game, so to speak?
Yeah, that's the truth. I was thinking about that, Scott, the other night. There's been a, double digits offer or, opportunities. It's hard to say, like, everybody's strategic. You get to a certain point in the interview process and, if you kind of like recruiting, you feel like they're not in, then you shift, right? I'd say there's been 2, maybe 3 where I was like, ooh, kind of like maybe that's the one, maybe I should go. But what, this I know doesn't work out often. I mean, you can take this risk and stay, and then you just don't get the opportunity. That's why I'm so grateful to Beth and our president, Wilson. But I'm an Iowa kid. I believe in it. I mean, my education at Drake University, it was, helped me become who I am. The way the people are in our great state, the way it feels over here. And I was never wired. Like, I think there's just 2 different ways to do it. Some people, they hop, and they get back to where they wanted to go. Believe me, I had many conversations in my head, and Julie, and with our former AD, Gary Barta, grateful to him as well. So you just have to, at some point, you have to be, okay, this is what I'm going for. So about 8 years ago, that's what I told Lisa. Now, some people had called, and I talked, but at the end of the day, there's no place I wanted to be. So that's why I feel really grateful that it worked out. And, I don't know what the odds are in Vegas that it work out again, but all I care about is right now.
Yeah, Jan, Jeff Linder, Cedar Rapids Gazette. One of your roles, and I'm kind of or piggybacking off him, one of your roles has been being a good cop, a back patter.
Right.
Do you see that changing? I mean, you've got such a sunny disposition. Doesn't always translate well to a head coaching role.
Right.
Do you see that changing at all?
I think it has to, right? But it doesn't concern me. I feel like we have, such good continuity staying that I know what Abby and Raina, to be successful on a staff, you have to be like-minded. And there are some things, the smaller things assistants should take care of, right? And when they get to be the big things, they hit that office. So I've had a lot of experience on the small things. And I've been able to do it, maybe with more of a sunny disposition. But, you can probably ask, a couple of the players, and they wouldn't tell you all the time that I'm as sunny, right? So I feel like, I've watched Lisa lead. I've watched many, people in my life. But I don't think you have to all of a sudden change and be this really burly, hard disciplinarian just to prove to everybody, by God, we're going to do it this way. I don't believe you have to do that. I think when you lead, you do it your way. And I'm very confident that the way I'll be able to handle the times when I need to be the quote-unquote bad cop, I'll do it my way. And I'll be very confident that it will be received well. So I'm not worried about that.
Hi, Jan.
Mike.
Mike Colossi, Cedar Rapids Gazette. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Do you have clearly defined goals on the court, off the court, but not immediate, but for the whole time you're going to be doing this job?
Yeah, you know, I think there's two ways that you can look at that. You know, I haven't had time to really sit down and look at your short-term goals and your long-term goals, which, you know, I will. And I don't always share those publicly, just like sometimes we don't always share what the team does, because sometimes you can put it out there and when you come up short, you get hammered. Sometimes that is within house. But, you know, I think when you're chasing greatness, you want to be a champion. I mean, I don't think there's been one season, I don't care how much we've rebuilt, that we've gone in there and said, well, let's just try to finish 5th this year. I'm not wired like that. Every year I want to be the champion of the Big Ten Conference. And I don't think you can take this job if you're constantly looking, you know, at like, okay, you know, let's just do this bit. Understanding it's a long game. I don't know, it's not coach speak, but I think we have some great pieces returning. I like who's coming in, that I don't think that has to be oh boy, that's a pie in the sky. But, you know, we graduated quite a class and quite a player. So I don't think that I'm into, like, you know, putting everything in this first year. You know, I'm going to have a little longer term contract. So I want to chase greatness. My expectations of the players are going to, you know, they've been to, you know, back-to-back tournament champs. They've been to back-to-back championship games. I'd like to think they're coming in with a mentality, a little chip on their shoulder, because most of everybody else is going to say, hey, you lost all that. So I'd say I'm not shying away to be great.
Hey, Jan, way in the back here.
Yep.
Mark Freund with WHO 13 in Des Moines.
Yep.
We heard Beth talk about how great it was that the easy choice was the right choice. And when you talk about continuity in your program, how valuable will it be for you in your position to have that continuity when it comes to recruiting and things of that nature, to kind of just keep the juju going, I guess, so to speak?
Yeah, great question. I feel very fortunate with that. You know, as I've alluded to, it's been a big change, but most everything remains the same. And thankfully to our staff returning, and to every one of our players, every committed player, everybody's here. Everybody stayed. And I'd like to, you know, I just consider that on day one a really big win, that everybody was with me and with us. And I think that is nice, just the continuity. And I think it's great that Lisa agreed to be an advisor role. I don't know what we'll exactly call that. But, you know, she's going to be around. She, you know, built it. She loves it. And she's going to be a great resource for me. You know, I'm going to need a little bit of grace from my team, and as we learn and grow, and certainly I'm going to make my share of mistakes, but I'm going to have her to kind of lean on. The players, you know, they can see her on occasion. So I do think that's just a really just adds to the seamless nature of this hire in that way. You know, I'm just fortunate that I'm the one that's, you know, been the associate head coach that got the shot, right?
Hey, Jan, Shannon,
Yep.
KCCI.
Yeah.
Walk me through, I don't know if anybody's asked you, walk me through the emotions when Lisa told you that she was retiring and then you got the call.
Yeah. You know, I think happy, sad, right? When she told us, kind of a little bit of shock, because, again, everybody, all my friends that coach, sometimes, you know, the ones you're closest to, she's got to know, you know, what's her time frame? I'm like, we don't. She doesn't really know. But I think probably the shocker to everybody was the distance after the season, right? So when that happened, it was just you're unsteady for a second, right? It's a lot of years together, you know, 33 years of trying to do something together. But I think both things can be really true. You can be really, really happy, and I was so happy and fired up for the possibility, especially when Beth, you know, called me up and said, hey, you want to visit? And I said, how fast? Yes. Can I get there? But by the same time, you can also, you know, almost a mourning of what was, because it's like anything in life. It's a beautiful chapter closed. whatever those milestone moments, you graduate from high school, you graduate from college, your first job, and then you get that next promotion. So is the ability to experience the realm of emotions. But for me, what I just feel so blessed with, the overriding emotion has always been gratitude. And that's what I felt. I'm so grateful for all that was, and just incredibly excited for hopefully all that will be. And to be able to do it again at a place I love, and with people I love and respect, and with a university that believes in me and us, and then our fan base, just gratitude. I felt that same way when the season ended, and it just has continued to carry over. Yeah.
David Eichel, HawkeyeInsider.com. Jen, congratulations, first of all.
Thanks.
Was it different, two-part, was it different talking to Lucy Olson just because she'd already entered the portal, and then, she commits, she thinks, Lisa's going to lead the charge? Was that a pretty easy conversation? And then the second part, you mentioned, being alongside Lisa for such a long time. Where does that loyalty kind of derive from? I mean, what's kind of sculpted you into having that quality?
Yeah. Well, I'll take the Lucy question first. Certainly, right? I've really felt like the first step was our team. When we met with our team, and that had a lot of emotions too. Going back is happy, sad, right? I mean, the team needed a little time, but then they're just great young women, and Lisa has earned this moment, right? And so they could celebrate that, but also, you're sad. But then, we had such a good rapport that they were, after, we all had a process. And then when they processed, everybody was on board. So that was the first thing. And, it was just that first day. And I think any transition in athletics, any coach will tell you that it's crucial. That first day, you're just like going, and intensity of it. And so then, of course, the very next call was to Lucy, and she was great. Disappointed, yes, but I think when the recruiting process, when it's done well, is they get to know everybody that's part of the process. And, the way Lisa has always led, she's done tremendous things, but she's always made us all feel a part of it, and that's how she's always recruited. And that's how I've recruited, and that's how I'll continue to recruit. So I think Lucy felt that, and after that initial shock, they think her mom and dad were great too, of like, wow, this is a great place. The culture remains. And, I've been with, this university and system for so long. So after the initial, couple minutes, but by the end of that conversation, she was great. So I'm very, very grateful for that. And certainly with our team, and they were great. The incoming freshmen, our players are helping them through it too. And so it was really a pretty cool, beautiful thing, and I'm so grateful for that. And now you talk about loyalty. I was brought up by some really pretty awesome people. My mom, my dad, I had two grandmothers. I've had my high school coach was phenomenal. My teachers I just had a nucleus that were faith-based and did the right thing. And I knew no other way. And then, navigating life, I had some incredible friends and, people in my corner, champions. Dr. Don Adams, he's a VP at Drake, one of my biggest mentors, and he was, any of the Drake people will know, he was Mr. Enthusiastic and Mr. Positive. So maybe it's a little bit innate, but I've really had a lot of people that have been in my corner, and I just really believe in doing the right thing all the time. Integrity's big and loyalty's big, and I just think this type of hire, some of my friends are like, oh, you paid your dues. I'm tell you what, if you get to pay your dues on this type of a ride, that's not a bad deal, huh? But I'd like to look at it more of a reward for loyalty. And I think if you continue to do that in life, it doesn't always work out. And had this not worked out, I mean, boy, what a ride I was on, right? But when you do get something that you've, dreamed about, that reward for loyalty is a much better way, in my opinion, to look at it than like, oh, you paid your dues. I made a choice, and it was a fabulous one to stick with these three. Yeah.
Hi, Jan. Tom Kicker, Hawkeye Report. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Wanted to ask you more about recruiting. You've been kind of a lead recruiter. You're out there a lot. You're going to probably have to adjust some of that. What is that going to be like for you to kind of let go of some of that and trust your assistants? And have you thought about what that process is going to be like?
You know, I really haven't, because recruiting has just, it's always been important, but it's really intensified the last years. We have a little bigger footprint. I think two things happened since the Megan Gustafson era. We got more in the national scene, then enter Caitlin, and then the expansion of the Big Ten. So now the Big Ten is in a place where it doesn't seem, if you're leaving California, doesn't seem as far away anymore, because, hey, it's part of the Big Ten. So we've been, busting it in a lot of different ways the last 5 years. And let me tell you, Raina and Abby and Lisa, all of us, we just do what you must do if you want to chase greatness. And I know, Abby, yesterday I got an email before I had even processed it, because Lisa won't be on the road. You can elevate in recruiting rules for this unique situation. She already told me where Tanaya was going, where Raina was going, what I was going to be doing, and this was the best situation because we're only going to miss 2 kids. So how lucky am I? Abby had that all figured out before I even thought about it, and recruiting starts Friday, I believe. So again, it goes back to big change, a lot remains the same. And I think that I'll continue to recruit just as hard, but just in a different way. And now I'll just be dependent on a little bit more who Abby tells me, because that's a lot of times Lisa never had the time to really get to that level of calling. We were trying to figure out, who she was going to be needing to spend her time with. And I trust Abby unequivocally, when she's going to need me for that 20 minutes out of my day, that it's going to be worthwhile. And I don't have any worries about that. Abby won't be doing that. And Raina.
Hi, Scott Docterman again with The Athletic. Excuse me. I wanted to ask you about how hectic, chaotic Monday might have been for you once the announcement came in. This is a new era for recruiting over the last couple of years, where all your players are now available via the transfer portal. You have commits, some high-level commits, plus incoming players. How long did it take you to make sure that you had everything secure? And did you have a chance to even enjoy the news on that time?
That's a great question. I would say that was probably one of the most intense days that I had ever experienced. It had every emotion of elation, but also that uncertainty. And I wanted to be, you're thrusting into the head coach role, but my best friend is also retired. So sometimes you just want to give her a hug and understand this is where I know it's difficult, but Lisa and I were on the phones trying to, just explain that, yeah, it's different, but we're going to be okay. So we kind of come through, because you don't want the news to leak, because we certainly wanted Lisa to have her moment without one of you guys leaking it, right, or covering or scooping each other, is to give everybody a fair opportunity at that news. So we kind of had a little time frame. We knew we were up against the clock, though, because we knew when that release came out. But you had to time it, because people find out they're going to process in different ways. So it was intensity, and I, you're balancing. We had a couple of our phones going and trying to just assure and reassure, and took as much time with everybody as needed, each recruit. And I can't thank the parents enough, these young women that are going to play for us. I can't thank the young women themselves enough. They were so gracious, and they processed with us. And by the end of the day, including our players, I think I probably talked for, from 3 o'clock till about 10:30, nonstop, of just trying to make sure everybody could ask as many questions and feel comfortable. So it was intense, but when we got there little by little, I just am so thankful for everybody's belief. But it was, I will say, to date, in that type of organizational day and what was at stake, probably one of the most intense days, but thankfully ended up being one of the most gratifying days. Yeah.
Mitch Fick from KGAN. Congrats, Jan.
Yeah, thanks.
Never a bad day to get your dream job, but for you to start your head coaching era in this era of the game and seeing it grow the way it has, what does it mean to you to step to the top of a program that's been at the forefront of a lot of that to start this new era for yourself?
I just think really honored. And what I think is, great about it is I'm in the trenches. This is going to be a different rebuilding year, but I think everybody's also ready for it. Our players, our staff, Lisa would have been too, because the beauty of what we do, it'd be great if you could always be the New York Yankees of yore, right? When they just won all the titles and just hitting home runs, smacking all the time. That doesn't happen as much anymore. But the fun part of what coaching is you get to have an era like we had, and that's just fun and all the different challenges. And then you have a player like Caitlin that is just challenging and awesome in every regard. And you got to have her and got to figure it out. But then when that graduates, you get another challenge. And in this age of what's happening, I'm very thankful for a boss that understands, we're in a new ball game, folks. You can recruit and you can have your normal process, but we're in NIL. I mean, that's the fact of the matter. And our fans have been great, but that's part of the gig now. And understanding you want to lean into that. You want to be at the forefront of figuring that out. And so, there's one way of looking at it. It can be daunting and it's hard and oh boy. But if you love it, as fans, if you love it, journalists, when you cover it, it's a new game. And so I am so excited to be part of that new game with Beth and figuring out how do we navigate it? How do we continue to chase greatness? So it's daunting, yes. You can look at it that way, but I look at it as exciting in everything that is changing. How can we do it the best? And we've got a great start with our fans, our super fans, people who are supporting the NIL, open-minded, because the game is going to change. It's going to change a lot, athletics game overall. So I'm really proud of, getting to be a part of it. And I'm just excited about the change this year and, going through a reset. And now we say we're going to do it the old-fashioned way. Now we don't have someone that shoots from the parking lot. They actually shoot from the three-point line, So we're gonna go figure that out all over again.
Thank you, Jan.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
The charm that Jan Jensen has long had there in Iowa City, and the reason so many people like her, and the reason why she's such a good recruiter. By the way, that person she was talking about who likes to shoot from the parking lot, Caitlin Clark, said this: "The only option there ever was. You deserve this more than anyone. Can't wait to watch you lead this program." That was Caitlin Clark when the announcement came down that Jan Jensen would be the head coach. Her buddy Kate Martin said, "Extremely grateful to have been coached by Bluter, and I'm so happy for her." If you know Bluter, you know that wasn't an easy decision for her. "I'm even more excited about Go Iowa," which again is the handle of Jan Jensen on Twitter, "to take over this amazing program. Iowa women's basketball is in great hands. Go Hawks." Finally, Megan Gustafson from a few years earlier being the star of the program, saying, "No words can describe how incredible this hire is. She has changed my life. Iowa is in great hands." A theme there, being in great hands. And again, a glimpse for those who've never seen Jan Jensen, that is the smiley, bubbly, energetic
that's her
personality that she is on and off the court.
Yes, that's her. I thought she nailed it, Mike. She absolutely nailed this press conference. She gave us humility, gratitude. She acknowledged those who set the stage: Dr. Grant, C. Viv Stringer, Lisa Bluter. She thanked her family. I mean, we all shed a tear when she talked about her parents and her brother who were watching from heaven. We laughed, with her jokes. They landed. I mean, she is gracious. She is professional. She is polished. She absolutely nailed that press conference in the same way I think she will nail this new opportunity.
We talk so much in sports about the importance of partnerships, and Lisa Bluter had a great partnership with Jan Jensen. Something that stood out to me is her athletic director is pretty new as well. And she made a concerted effort multiple times to say, "Beth and I will Beth and I are going to. That seems like a budding relationship that could be a real strong point for both of them.
Well, she's smart.
It's also your boss. You better
It's her
praise her,
boss.
right?
And what I love, though, is that she acknowledged that this is a whole new era in college basketball and athletics. And so Beth obviously gave her a longer-term contract. They lost a lot. You never know what's going to happen with transfer portal. It does. I mean, it just seems like a great fit for Beth, but also for Jan.
Right. I thought it was interesting, too, when people were asking about how she might change things. She said, well, I don't know if you read my bio, but I like offense. They're going to still score a lot in Iowa City.
I just want to see this Iowa full court press that
would
she's
be
talking
fun.
about. I'd like to see that.
Man, and get a little Ohio State Iowa action when everybody's going full court the whole time. That could be fun to see. Remember, this is a person who, when she was a player, averaged 29 points a game. She is motivated. She is ready to take on this job. And like you said, it seems like she's ready to be in charge.
And how about the reactions from her former players, Mike? I mean, you can't fool players. You can fool fans, but players are like puppies and kids. They know. You can't fool them.
Right.
And so just to have that sort of respect, it's going to be great for Iowa.
Yeah, those players didn't have to say anything in the world of social media, but they chose to reach out. And you will get to see what Jan Jensen can do as she is the new head coach, the 6th head coach in the history of the women's basketball program there at Iowa. For Shimmy, I'm Mike. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.